Hello fellow rescuers, my name's Dave Dalrymple from Roadway Rescue. We're going to be doing some training clips on vehicle rescue today, but first off, just like every other incident, we want to make sure that our scene is safe. So what we're going to show you first is a scene assessment, then we're going to stabilize the vehicle. When we're assessing our scenes, remember, we're looking for the big picture all the way around. We're also looking in close at the vehicles. We're looking for possible clues for entrapment, we're looking for hazards to us, and we're also looking for potential injuries to our patients. So we can come back, put our plan together, and make things happen. Okay, our stabilization. We're going to set it up. We're going to put 4 points of stabilization underneath the vehicle. We're going to put 2 points in front of the rear tires, and we're going to put 2 points behind the front tires. We're going to use a combination of devices here. We're going to use a rapid stare, and we're going to use a step chock. Now, Mike just put in a rapid stare and started his tire deflation. John's going to come in and put a step chock in, as well as a tire deflator to deflate the front tire. Once the tires are deflated, the car will be sitting down on a platform and will be solid and ready to work for you tool work-wise. Okay, our 3 stabilization devices that we use today. The first one you're probably the most familiar with, a step chock. Now, the reason why it's called a step chock, obviously because the steps themselves are in a stair fashion to slide underneath the vehicle so we can catch different points of the vehicle to make it solid. Some people also can turn this over and use it as a big wedge. Now, that's good because that'll take up a lot of space in a hurry. Now, one of the other devices we also used a rapid stare. Now, a rapid stare in its fashion is a little different. Same type of concept though, something to put underneath the vehicle for our point of contact, but the difference is instead of a wedge going underneath our step chock to take up space, the wedge actually travels. And how it would be set up underneath the vehicle, it would slide underneath the vehicle, the rescuer would put their foot against this, and then they would pull this cord, and this would slide up. As it slides up, you'll see it's also locks into the track each time. As it comes up, it wedges itself between the vehicle on the platform and the ground with the rapid stare itself. Our third example is a quick chock. Now, how did a quick chock came about? Well, one of the things that we're finding is step chocks on modern vehicles have a tendency to stick further and further out because the vehicle themselves have less and less ground clearance. Now, the problem with that is step chock, as you all know, will stick further out. It'll be a trip hazard, but also when you try and do some of your door or side evolutions, get hung up on that step chock when the piece of the vehicle actually comes off. This idea being a platform, and then on top of it, a wedge gets inserted, either a 4x6 wedge or a 6x6 wedge on top of the platform. Takes up a lot of space quickly, but also facilitates this as an operational much quicker than a step chock. Basically, you can drop the platforms on the ground, slide them underneath the vehicle so they're flush with the side of the vehicle itself, then come back with a wedge and take up the space quickly and make the car nice and stable, and actually have a more solid platform than a step chock because of the width of the platform and the width of the wedge itself. Finishing up our stabilization, remember we want to put 4 points of stabilization underneath the vehicle, 2 points behind the front tires, 2 points in front of the back tires. Once we got the cribbing in place that takes out our suspension, we're going to deflate the tires. Deflating the tires drops the vehicle down onto our platform, making it rock solid for our tool evolutions to work. The one thing you need to remember though, modern cars, vehicle manufacturers are going towards run flat tires. Run flat tires aren't going to allow us to deflate tires to bring the vehicle down onto the cribbing. We're going to have to bring the cribbing the rest of the way up to make that solid platform to work off of. Now, after we've stabilized the vehicle, one of the important things we need to do today, and this is with every incident involving a motor vehicle, is we want to secure the power to the vehicle. The first step for that is going to be shut off the ignition, take the key away from the vehicle, and that's important because a lot of vehicles today have proximity ignition or proximity keys. That type of key needs to be out, away from the vehicle itself. In fact, the best practice is to put it back in your apparatus. Once we've got the key out of the mix, we want to make sure we come in and find the 12-volt battery, disconnect it, or cut the battery cables, depending on what your department's preference is. both the negative and the positive terminals. After we've done that, we want to make sure we get our patient covered up and protected, because we're going to be going on to and removing the glass from the vehicle as needed.